Hi everyone, my name is Danny. Welcome to Danny's Corner. In this video, I want to talk about the past. But this video is not just about the past. It's about how we distorted. It's about how we flatten people into symbols, canonize them as saints, or discard them when their truths become inconvenient. It's about how we often remember disabled figures only after we scrubbed away their contradictions, their anger, their context. This is a video that will talk about resistance, about reclaiming what has been lost, not just to time, but to narrative control. We live in a world that was never designed with disabled people. That's not just a metaphor, but it's an architectural, educational, economic, and philosophical truth. From the layout of cities to the structure of school curriculum, from the assumptions of healthcare to the bias and hiring practices, the very framework of society has been built around the idea of a norm that excludes, punishes, or even erases disabled bodies and minds. Yet, some of history's most impactful individuals, musicians, revolutionaries, inventors, writers, even teachers, have been disabled or have been shaped directly by disabilities. Their stories are woven into the roots of culture, science, and progress. But the way we tell those stories often betrays the truth of their lives. Even when they are remembered wrong. They are remembered in fragments, distortions, and curated half-truths. Beethoven, for example, is remembered as a tortured genius, but his rage and resilience in the face of encroaching deafness are rarely understood in its full context. Harriet Tubman is celebrated for her bravery, but few talk about the brain injury and narcoleptic trances that shaped her visions and decisions. Alexander Graham Bell is praised as a communications pioneer, but his actions toward the deaf community are often erased. Helen Keller is remembered for learning how to speak, not for the radical politics that she embodied. And Laura Bridgman, the first deaf-blind person to be educated in language, is mostly forgotten. Why do we do this? Because complexity or complex issues like this is inconvenience, because contradictions are uncomfortable, because society prefers narratives that are easy to digest and hard to question. Because when we exalt someone on a pedestal, we can use their image however we like. We can turn them into metaphors. We can filter out the parts that challenge us. We can use their names as weapons or shields. Anything but the full truths. We don't just erase disability from public memories, we erase the daily resistance that it takes to live with a disability. We erase the systems that failed these things. We erase the communities they came from. We erase the hard questions they asked and the even harder ones they left behind. We clean them up, frame them in golden light, and pretend that they were never angry, never defiant, never in pain. And when they are gone, we use their image to silence others like them who are still living, still struggling, still demanding to be seen. In this video, I will try to lift their spirit out of the polished version and let them live side by side, not to judge, but to see clearly, and not just to tell their story, but to show how their lives reflect a larger systemic reality that the world celebrates disabled people, but only when they become useful, inspirational, or silent. These stories will not be retold to comfort you. They are here to confront you, not with cruelty, but with clarity. Because the problem is not that these individuals were forgotten. It's that even when remembered, they were misrepresented just like anything else. And when stories are misrepresented, so are the people that live them. So let me finish off, and I will definitely continue these stories in separate videos. And thank you. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for hearing, as it is much more important to listen than to watch. Because every time that you hear a story, every time that you hear a reflection, you remember it. An image doesn't do the same thing. I don't think it holds that same power. You need to hear these stories from a voice that, just as they have, has probably gone through the same things. See, in this day and age, we still face discrimination, prejudiced attitudes, ableist attitudes. That people may not want to admit this, that's another thing. But only those of us who have been disabled, perhaps ever since we were born, or even for a few years, we know the reality and how these things are. Not only here in the United States, but wherever you go. So once again, thank you, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you very much.